We're here.
What? Hey. Okay. Hey, everyone, we have a special guest. I know, like, shocking. You're like, no, I'm seeing double. There's two redheads on my screen. But no, that's not true. We're totally different people.
Completely different people.
Except that we're the same.
Exactly.
So, anyway, we have Amok. She's joining us because she decided to grace my fair city. And I'm, like, crazy excited that she came to visit. And yay! So we've been terrorizing Las Vegas, basically, is what's been happening over the last couple of days.
You could say we've been running amok.
We have been running amok.
Yeah.
Although we didn't really run.
No.
It's
we kind of hard to in heels.
We walked a lot.
Yes, we did.
Anyway, and we bought pretty things.
So many pretty things.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
And pretty things for others too. And harass strange men to try on pretty things.
We really did. It was fun. Well, we actually got the sales clerk to harass the strange man.
That's true.
So that was fun. So anyway, Jenny, next time you come out here.
Yes, ma'am. I will.
Yes. Come out. Play. Because, I don't think Vegas could handle all three of us in one place.
I think it would be epic.
I really do. I really think that it would be. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing the last 2 days. What have you been doing, Sparkles?
Working. I have no life. My job won't let me do that anymore. We're like, no, we own you for 6 days of the week, and that one day that you have off, you're gonna sleep the whole time. So no life for you. So it's like, fine. Just give me a paycheck and shut up.
Sweet. Anyway, so we only have a few topics to go over tonight, which means, fair audience, we will find rabbit holes and we will dig. It'll be epic.
Oh, heck yeah. Because we're starting off with a debate. Okay, what they call a debate, though, if you look up the definition of a debate, that's not what really happened. What was it, Wednesday night? Because time means nothing to me. But then again, this is America 2015, and words mean nothing because let's just face it, everything is a trigger warning, and it doesn't mean what you think it means anymore. Yeah. But anyways, back to that. Whatever CNN's rating.
That should have had a trigger debate on it. If you are bothered by words not actually being used correctly, then you should not watch this.
No.
I
do have to say, okay, so I'm like the odd woman out in this trio here because I actually didn't watch the debate. What I did was I watched what other people said about the debate, and then I came up with a summary, which apparently was correct, which is hilarious. But what I really enjoyed was if you listen to talk radio, specifically if you were listening to Rush Limbaugh at all leading up to the debate, you heard advertisements for the debate for CNN, and I swear that they should have just hired the guy that says Sunday, 11 enter, 1 leaves, because that's essentially what it was. It was the weirdest thing. Like every time it came on, I laughed hysterically. It was so I don't understand. It was like they were making fun of the fact that there was a political debate.
Or trying to remind you that Trump once was on WWE.
That could be. That might be. But it was just, it blew me away. And all it made me think of was the movie Idiocracy, which if you have not seen it, please, by all means, find it and watch it. I'm not saying it's the best movie ever. I'm saying it's where we're headed.
It's just prophetic. That's what it is. It's prophetic.
Yes, very much so.
I've been going on that Brondo kick all week. It has electrolytes. What are electrolytes? We don't know, but they're extremely awesome. And plants don't grow from them.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, this advertising for the advertising alone told me exactly what was going to happen at the debate. But surprisingly, the one thing that came out of this whole thing was that Carly Fiorina, who had to fight to get on the main stage, kicked ass and took names, evidently.
Oh yeah, she did well. What I don't understand is like how John Kasich keeps getting on there, because all he did was interrupt to make sure that everybody knew that he was still there. Who else was? They didn't really talk to Cruz very much. They barely, they kept, even Carson, who was standing right next to Trump, only got like, I don't remember seeing him on, the camera a few times. It's like, he's in the middle. How are you missing him?
Because he's saying
off to the side. Right there.
Sorry. We've been watching bad lip reading, and if you saw the bad lip reading of the previous debate, Ben Carson.
I can't wait for the new one to come out.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be amazing. It's just going to be ridiculous and so good. But Ben Carson, one little weeby, it's precious. That's all.
One of the charts.
Oh gosh, but the mere fact that they can do that and make total fun of the political process just tells you exactly what's going on with the political process right now. It's a joke.
It is. Because the one thing, because this is the one thing I got off my Twitter comments, because I'm just shooting off comments. I wasn't really reading a lot that was coming back at me, except for one. But for the most part, I was like tweeting out because don't ever use TweetDeck and follow the thread for any debate. You will not see one single tweet that goes by that fast. It's just a constant. But I made a couple comments about Donald Trump, and wow, the Trump-a-lumpas just came out of the woodwork to attack anybody that said anything negative about him. And I'm like, he's a child. He's acting like a child. Like, they would go to somebody else for a question, but they would keep a camera on him, and he's making faces. I'm like, you were not as a child. No one ever told you no. You never had your hand slaps and you're going, no, you can't treat people like that.
It was almost like he was like a cartoon of himself. Like he was even more unhinged than he usually was. It was kind of like he just said, screw it. I'm already won, so I might as well just like be a complete total moron. I was watching it and I just legitimately could not even, like, he just had completely lost his shit, and it was amazing to watch. And people were still like, oh, he was awesome. I'm like, were you watching the same debate? Because that was literally a 4-year-old who was like making faces at mom behind her back on national television.
Pretty much. And then when it came to policy questions, he could not come up with a policy. Mm-mm. Like Rubio had a policy, Cruz had a policy, Paul had a policy. Trump had none. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Carson, as much as Carson, I think, is not necessarily, he's not, I don't know, he is very slow talking, and I don't know if he's really ready for the national scene, but he actually had some very, good plans. I don't know if they'd work, but they were at least well thought out.
Yeah, well, he's a neurosurgeon, so, the slow speech, I'm sure, is also a slow thought process. Not that he's slow, it's that it has to be methodical, because you really don't want a neurosurgeon going, let's slice and dice this.
Well, and I often imagine you talk to parents, you have to kind of talk slowly and, explain things out. That being said, when you're watching a debate, I want to be like, seriously, dude, let's go.
Yeah. Let's move along, answer the question, and let's go.
I know there's some caffeine back there. Can somebody please hand him some?
IV.
Like one Red Bull. Just give him one
Bull. It's politics. Maybe somebody has some cocaine. Really.
Yeah, that's true. That could happen. You never know. Probably more so in the 80s than now, but...
I lived in D.C.
No. I like to just throw that out there. It's nice. That's good. Yeah. I this debate, I don't think helped anybody. This was the best thing. If somebody that I'm reading their comments and whatnot had not actually made up their mind who they were interested in supporting, it was Carly Fiorina all the way.
Oh yeah, when she answered questions, they were thought out, and she wasn't very even when she answered the Planned Parenthood thing, when she talked about that, there was like a little bit of emotion in the back of her throat, but for the most part, she was very straightforward in how she answered it. And it was like, you want that in a leader, you know, where there is that kind of emotion, but they're not wearing it on their sleeve, which we've kind of been for like the last 8 years because, you know, feelings.
The feels. It's all about the feels.
Because
but the juxtaposition to all that is that those that were so on point for a particular candidate, no matter who it was, that candidate won. Mm-hmm. They won the debate, according to whomever. So that was very telling to me. I'm like, did you listen to anything that anybody else said? Because, like, I like Ted Cruz. I like him. If he's the nominee, I'm going to vote for him. I'll probably vote for him in the primary, too, if he makes it that far. And I just don't think he fared well in this debate, from what I understand. I think that he didn't use time wisely.
He kind of came off robotic, and it was the way that he was kind of like looking in the camera when he was giving his answers.
It was so bizarre.
It was.
I heard that it was
like he was like looking straight into your soul. Like he wasn't like looking at the audience. He was looking right into that robot like heart of a camera.
Oh my gosh! All I can think of is Elf on the Shelf, but okay, that's that's all I can think of right now because those things are creepy.
Yeah, one of my favorite things that did come out of this debate thing was my favorite meme. And it was the pitch, like the panoramic picture. And they're like, hey, look, CNN found the plane.
That's awesome. And that's about the sum of it, I would imagine.
I think, though, I'm the most surprised, though, because they announced that they're holding the Democratic debate at the Reagan Library too, and all I could think of is that is probably the most bizarre location, and I'm pretty sure Bernie Sanders might actually burst into flames upon entering into that conservative, like hall of, like church.
Oh, it is so conservative. I love it. I love going there. The Ronald Reagan Library is just ridiculously awesome on every level, and anybody who comes visit me for an extended period of time, I will find a way to get us over there so we can go because it's amazing. But yeah, the socialist entering into Reagan, just heaven.
It's one of those where you probably don't want to be standing around him as he like.
No. I and it is California, so earthquakes.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there right now.
Hillary would be like, I rode on that plane. That's mine.
I own it now.
Yeah.
It's mine. I deserve it.
Yeah.
I think is more so where she's at. Yeah, I thought that was odd that the first big Democratic debate is going to be at the Ronald Reagan Museum.
I think it's the
kind of interesting.
Huh?
That is kind of interesting. If I have just two people debate each other just for fun, for funsies, I would like to see Donald Trump and Joe Biden have a debate because
that would be so much fun. Right? It's gonna explode from all the stupid.
No.
Sorry.
Biden is like the most epic. Oh my gosh. I honestly have been saying since the beginning of this, you know what? I'm absolutely conservative. But if Biden entered the race and Trump was the nominee, I might actually vote for Biden for no other reason than because Biden as president would be epic. Because it would just be like one big clown show. And I think that would be so much fun to watch. Because honestly, I don't think he could do much damage. And I think that we'd have so much comedy potential with him molesting, like Angela Merkel from Germany. I mean, don't you think that would be really fun? I mean, or somebody's hot wife, I mean, can you imagine?
Maybe his vice presidential nominee, whoever he chooses, maybe that wife, or maybe even if it's a female vice president.
Oh yeah, that would probably be.
That would be scary. My mom is just like in love with Joe Biden, like it's creepy, and I
like
have
Leslie Knope in love with Biden.
What?
Like Leslie Knope in love with Biden?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's terrifying. I didn't actually even know about it until Joe Biden became vice president. And then all of a sudden my mom was like, oh, she's so excited. I don't understand how. But I believe that Joe Biden was chosen as vice president as assassination insurance. But that's just me. I firmly believe that, although in your scenario with Donald Trump being the other option, that could happen, but I don't think anybody really wants a President Biden.
No, I don't think anybody really does. I don't think President Biden wants a President Biden.
No. But a debate between the two would just be epic.
Right?
It'd be so fun. It could be fun. Yeah.
I think next year, after both of them are no longer in the primary in the election, some news outlet should really hire the both of them for like an hour, like a weekly show, and just I don't even care what they call it, because I would watch.
I would totally watch that too. I think we should start funding for that now.
Let's do a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Let's crowdsource that. That'd be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should just do a YouTube. They should just get together and do that.
That would be so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
And even better, they could travel the country around interview people, and it'd be like Dumb and Dumber.
It would be. One of them at some point would say, do you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Yeah, that'd be so much fun. Or even better, they'd be in a car and be like, I'm running at the greatest rate of speed.
Yes.
I guarantee you that would be Biden, though.
Talking about great matches.
Yes.
Apparently, there is a Gitmo prisoner that is on Match.com. So, ladies, all the single ladies out there, Ahmed's looking for you.
Yeah.
He wants to hook you up.
He really is. And I think my favorite thing is that it's not actually him running it, because when I first read the article, I was like, how does he have access to Match.com and Gitmo? That doesn't make any sense. I thought, this is a joke. And then I started reading and I realized it's his lawyer. His lawyer manages the Match.com profile, and the tagline on the profile is detained but ready to mingle. Epic!
You just can't make this up. I mean, when you sent me that link, I was hanging out with my friend Jay, and he was like, there's no way that that's real. There's no way. And I was reading the transcripts of the actual letters that were faxed to the lawyer, and he's like, there's no way that where is he getting this reference? He apparently wrote about maybe the Kardashians and pop culture, and he's like, what are they showing these people in Guantanamo? And he's like, there's no way. He legitimately is like, this has got to be fake. He is so convinced that this is an epic fake, and it will come out that somebody's just trolling everybody, because he would not buy it. And I was like, no, you can't make this up, because this is what happens. This is reality, because, that's how we treat them down there. We give them everything they want. And the Kardashians, because apparently that's what terrorists really like.
Well, I mean, we spent how much money to get them a soccer field for exercise or something? I don't really know what that was all about, but why you're in prison, I don't understand how you get these privileges. But I want to know, who are the women that are matching with this man? I want to meet them. I want to know who they are. I want to know if they continue when they realize I mean, first of all, they would know from the very first line on his account that says detained but ready to mingle. Like, that tells you everything that you need to know.
But I think they're the same kind of women that write to people who are on death row and prisoners. Charles Manson was engaged, or maybe actually got married.
No. They
broke up.
Yeah, they stopped the wedding because he figured out that she just wanted to have control of where his body went when he died. Yeah, that's pretty much where that was.
Well, maybe these women want this guy's 72 virgins or something.
Ooh. But he'd have to die a martyr, and he's in Gitmo, so he's not going to die a martyr.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're SOL.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work. But yeah, I like that we allow our Gitmo detainees to find love.
Well, we're letting Chelsea Manning become a girl on the government's paycheck.
Right.
A traitor. I mean, that's,
Well, and we paid $5 million for Bo Bergdahl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I guess this shouldn't surprise us.
VA hospital, they have to wait for like ever and a day to get in.
Oh yeah, we were discussing that last night.
I personally have had these issues.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've actually witnessed it myself at the VA here in Vegas. It's wow, the lightning speed.
Yeah,
I tell you.
Or you can't get the medications that you need, or they charge you $1 bajillion for them, and they decide they're going to suddenly not be paying for something that you've been using for years. Yeah. So
it's awesome. It's awesome.
It's so much fun.
It's a good time. TRICARE.
Yeah.
It's good insurance.
Yeah. That was so much fun.
Yeah. Maybe we should just give the Gitmo detainees TRICARE.
That would be awesome.
There we go.
Let's do that.
And let them deal with calling the 1-800 number and being like, could you please explain to me why you're not paying for a prescription this month, but you paid for it last month and you did not notify me? So I think that would be torture enough. Just make them be on hold with a military health care line, whether it's active duty or not, because I'm telling you, I worked in military hospitals. That's an endless loop. So
yeah, it is. It really is. So and no help there.
No.
But apparently they can find love.
So if they really want to find love, why can't we just send them goats or something? I think that would just be cheaper.
Peter might actually have an issue with that.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah, but we can send them live women. So that Peter doesn't have an issue with that.
No, so long as the women are willing.
Yeah.
Ish.
They have the right to choose.
Yeah. Because feminism or something.
That's always the answer.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But seriously, if you don't believe us about the Gitmo detainee that has a Match.com account, I strongly encourage you to look up the Daily Mail article about it. We will link it to this because it's incredulous. I read the headline and went, eh?
The pictures are the best though because it has actual transcripts and you gotta read it.
He has sage advice for lots of people.
Yeah, including the president.
Yeah. So he's a catch. He's detained. He's Muslim.
And that beard thing's really in right now. So yeah,
it really is. It really is hipster and all. So he's got it all going on.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to give him a flannel and wait, they can't drink alcohol, so there goes a PBR in his hand.
But I'm pretty sure he can handle some skinny jeans.
Let's get him some skinny jeans. Let's do that. I think that would be the kind. Oh, and the fake glasses with the thick rims, and maybe like a crocheted hat.
Well, they kind of have those already. The little prayer hats.
Yeah, but this one should sit more jaunty on his head. Like a little off to the side, or like sagging in the back.
There you go.
That's how it's done, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not a hipster, so somebody help me out.
Be a team player. Help us out.
Right. So
talking about Muslims.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, if your name is Ahmed Muhammad, Do not bring electrical parts inside a pencil case that looks like a small briefcase to school, and don't think you're going to get in trouble for it.
He was supposedly so smart. That was kind of a real stupid thing to do.
Well, there's some interesting things about this case going on right now, which is I do not speak on any factuality on this because this is just stuff I'm starting to research because it's odd. It's very odd. So first of all, this 13-year-old has a staff lawyer. Let's just start there. I don't understand why a 13-year-old needs a lawyer on retainer. If anybody can explain this to me, I would be happy to listen to you. The second thing that I'm hearing from, I won't say totally reliable sources, but people that are pretty specific about not putting bad information out there. You know how Obama invited him to the White House? Cool Clock Ahmed come to the White House? Evidently, that plane ticket was bought before he brought the clock in question to school.
Huh.
Now, I have not verified this, so please don't send me hate mail and be like, you're lying. I might be, but I'm lying because I haven't verified it completely yet. I'm telling you what I'm hearing from people who do verify things. So I'm trusting, and then I'll verify. So I find it very interesting that if that were in fact true, was this all just a publicity stunt? Something, I don't know, to make Obama look really hip and cool that he's invited. And I guess MIT has offered this kid a full ride or something to their university. He's 13 and he built a clock that takes 4 power cords to. Serious?
Okay. Now here's the thing about the clock that he built. He didn't build anything. He took apart an old clock radio from like the late 70s, early 80s. All he did was take it apart, reassembled it in the pencil case. He really didn't do anything. Like, if you're going to invent a clock, you don't use the same circuit board that came in the original clock. I can understand if you want to use a display from the other clock, but you don't use the same circuit board.
Yeah. No.
It's like,
it was ridiculous.
But also, I keep coming up to the idea of if this was supposed to be a science project. I mean, I hate to point out the obvious, but he keeps saying that he invented a clock. I'm pretty sure the clock's been invented. And repeated ad nauseum. So I don't really see how that was even. I mean, as a complete and total like science geek, I pretty sure that was the shittiest science project ever.
Do you object to his? I think invented the clock.
I do. It was not. He didn't invent the clock. I'm pretty sure that somebody did that a long time ago, and he just made a clock. That may have been a better word, but even still, as a 13-year-old, I think he needs to step up his game for science projects. I mean, let's just be realistic here.
Really though, my daughter, who's not quite 13, has already come up with fabulous ideas for science projects, all on her own. But Obama's not calling her.
No.
And saying, hey, neat soul project that you did. Come to the White House. No.
There's like that girl who invented a way to test blood, and she's created her own company, and she's like 19 now, but she did it when she was like 14 or 15, and she's the CEO of her own company, and now like they do blood tests in Africa and do all these wonderful things, but nobody hears about her. One, because I'm pretty sure, she's actually doing good things and busy, being a productive member of society. But also, too, she's not, I guess, what's the word? Annoying about her behavior. I mean, it just seems to me like this is something about it. It seems like it's too perfect of a crazy story. You know, like it has to be, you know, it's somebody who is Muslim and somebody who's a young boy and something that is literally incendiary. And it is, to me, it seems like it's a distraction. It's another distraction.
It's a big distraction. And why did he bring it to English class? Does anybody want to explain this to me? It's a science project, right? Like last I checked, science projects get dropped off in the science room first period, regardless.
And apparently, because it was a pencil case, it should be small enough to fit in your locker.
Right. Well, like my kid's school doesn't have a locker, but it should be small enough to fit in the backpack to stay in there. Like, I don't understand why it was out there. Now, the teacher probably did overreact a little bit on that, but that has more to do. Like, Kira Davis wrote a fabulous piece. I think we should link it to this because it's exactly what I have said for a really long time. This has to do with zero tolerance policies. You can't have a zero tolerance policy. They don't work. You have to have leniency on certain things. And this doesn't, and so then it leads to panic. This kid has what I think might possibly be a bomb, but I don't know. It has wires.
Yeah. The zero
English teacher, they don't know, you know, that stuff.
The zero tolerance policy, though, I mean, mention it though, it is absolutely ridiculous. But it's appalling to me that you have this kid who built what was ostensibly looked like a bomb, and we've since apologized for him. He's been invited to the White House and all this other nonsense. But you have 5-year-olds who are, you know, chewing Pop-Tarts in the shapes of guns, and they now are banned for life from like every college that in the Pacific Northeast because they're, you know, he's obviously way too conservative and he's, you know, into guns. But I mean, that kid is never going to go to college, but this 13-year-old who built a shitty clock is now going to go to MIT, you know.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Clearly.
Now, I just remember because I sleep during the day, so I wake up at like between 4 and 6. So I miss some of these stories, and I just get the jokes afterwards. And the first time I even heard about this clock story, Chris Last put up a picture, and there was a Pop-Tart, and he drew a clock face on it. He's like, "I'm going to send this to my kids to school tomorrow." Like,
well played, sir. Well played.
It's epic.
Perfect. That's awesome. So, whoa, wait. So, are you saying that if we bite Pop-Tarts into the shape of a clock, that's okay?
Yeah, but can I actually be distracted from a minute? Because I apparently saw earlier today on Facebook that now you can buy Pop-Tarts that have Han Solo in the carbonite form. And I'm sorry, now that we're talking about Pop-Tarts, I really am not generally a Pop-Tart person, but I am a Star Wars nerd, and I'm going to go buy those in bulk and have to freeze them because I need those forever.
You're going to freeze them in carbonite?
Yeah, actually, there you go. Well, I can't eat those then.
No, probably not.
Yeah, but I kind of want to have them forever because I think that's, I mean, I think they've saturated it, but I think the Pop-Tart with the Han Solo is just.
That's brilliant.
It's just the best thing ever. So
I love it.
Sorry for the.
Oh, never apologize for a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Never.
But that's the best, though. I mean, Star Wars and junk food. I mean, really, honestly.
How can you go wrong?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, unless it'll kill you or something. But.
Yeah, but it might still be worth it because it was Star Wars.
That's true. Anything Star Wars is really worth it.
Yeah.
So. But yeah,
that holiday special they tried back in the 80s, but you know, and Jar Jar Binks. But
Jar Jar Binks.
I blame George Lucas for Jar Jar Binks.
I blame Lucas for a few things, but yeah.
At least he had the presence of mind to sell to Disney, who then had the presence of mind to hire J.J. Abrams. I'm sorry, but I don't think that there's anybody more qualified to make a Star Wars movie currently than J.J. Abrams. And that is above and beyond George Lucas. Seriously, the man lost his way. He spent too much time. doing what he could do instead of what he should do, and it just turned into idiocy, and I just can't even stand the movies. Like, I had somebody ask me, my son's never seen the Star Wars movies. Should I have him watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I'm like, no. You have him watch 4, 5, 6, and then you burn 1, 2, 3, and you just wait till 7 comes out, and you'll be all set, because A, the 1, 2, 3 are horrible, and B, you lose the element of surprise in 5.
Oh yeah.
Like that moment in 5, and I'm not going to spoil it, because there may be somebody who's watching us right now who's never seen Star Wars. Now, I can't imagine who that might be.
And I'm judging them.
Yeah, we should judge them harshly. But
I say judging.
There is a moment in 5 that if you have previously watched 1, 2, and 3, you'll be like,
it's not a surprise
okay.
anymore. It's like the shark has already jumped.
Yeah, this is not new information. Mm-hmm. So, anywho, so if somebody in our audience has never seen any of the Star Wars movies, first of all, what? And second of all, 4, 5, 6. If you feel compelled to watch 1, 2, and 3,
for no other reason than maybe they can get the Jar Jar Binks reference,
right? You should, and that's only on 1, really.
Okay,
well, I mean, he is in 2 and 3, but
I don't know.
Somebody did write down the correct sequence to watch Star Wars, and it was 4, 5, 6, and then 2, 3. Just do more of the backstory.
Because, yeah, I mean, but if you want to understand the Weird Al Yankovic song, then you need to watch 1. I'm just saying. I mean, there's some value in seeing episode 1, Attack of the Clones.
I think that there's value in seeing 1, 2, and 3 for no other reason than to kind of see the disaster of what kind of became of a great movie, and maybe, a great trilogy, and that is the example of, this is really how you screw things up, and This is what you should not do. So, maybe they should teach that like in film school or something.
It really should be taught in film school of what not to do.
Yeah.
It could be the what not to wear.
Yes, film.
Of film.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But thankfully, there's going to be a new trilogy, 7, 8, and 9. That's going to happen, and J.J. Abrams is at the helm, and from what I've seen so far, oh my good golly, I cannot wait. Like, I seriously goosebumps right now thinking about it. That's so stupid. And I'm not even the hugest Star Wars fan. I'm a Han Solo fan. So when he showed up in the preview, I was like, it was very exciting.
No, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. My sister got married at Disney World, and her little Disney characters was Minnie Star Wars and a Minnie Leia and a Mickey Han. And my mom, she introduced us to Star Wars. I tend to date Star Wars fans. My ex-husband was not a Star Wars fan, which is probably why he's my ex-husband.
Yeah, that would explain a lot.
But otherwise, I think that Star Wars is probably something that everybody should watch.
Forever and ever.
And ever. It's the best.
I saw Star Wars when I was 5. The only thing that I remember from it is Han Solo. Really, honestly, that was the only thing I remember. Like, have an actual vivid memory of going to see it in the theaters was Han Solo. That was it. He's my first true love.
Good to know.
Yeah. And then,
as long as your husband's okay with it,
Oh, he knows. And in fact, our son is named after the actor who plays Han Solo. So, yeah. Middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, my husband looked at me like I was crazy when I said it, and then he didn't think he had to worry about it because our son was supposed to be a girl until he was born. That's a funny story. Anyway, that was a fun rabbit hole. Star Wars. From bomb clocks to Star Wars to...
Well, it went from a bomb to, we're talking about a bomb of a trilogy at least.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're keeping consistent. Consistency is key, people. Key.
It is.
Anywho.
Very much so.
Anywho, let's talk about another atrocity.
Okay, let's.
Okay, can we talk about the atrocity of a 102-year-old woman being kicked out of her church that she'd been going to for 90 years?
When I first saw that headline, I'm like, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, what? So I clicked it, and I'm sitting there going, hi. And then a couple, like, I think it was yesterday, one of my friends put up a video that another pastor was commenting on the story, and I found out even more about this. Okay, the lady in question, I already forgot her name, and I feel really bad. She's 103 years old. She's been going to this church since she was 11. A lot of the people at the church look up to her. She's kind of like the mama of the church. The pastor has been there for 6 years. He started teaching, was it the holiness doctrine or something? Basically, like Amok told me earlier, is bringing more of a Pentecostal flavor to Baptist. And if you are a Southern Baptist, or, I forgot the other kind of Baptist there, that isn't seen in a lot of Baptist churches. And I stand with this woman. The church is a certain way. If you want to teach that kind of doctrine, there should have been a vote, because you're affecting people's spiritual lives. But I found out what this guy, the pastor, did. He banned her from church. Says, you can't come here anymore. You told somebody, 103-year-old, they can't come to church. You're telling a God-fearing person, no, you can't come to church. Came to church. She sat in the sanctuary. They had everybody leave the sanctuary and shut off the lights and made her sit in the dark. Then called the cops on her.
I need alcohol. I actually don't have alcohol because I have to drive later, and I need alcohol hearing that. Why would you do such a thing?
Like this, I think of that, and admittedly, I'm a Catholic, and I guess I think things a little bit differently, but I'm pretty sure Jesus said nowhere that we exclude people and treat them like petulant children and make them sit in the dark, because they want to worship God. I mean, that seems like that's like every bite of that is like absolute contradiction of everything that Christianity is supposed to stand for.
I mean, I'm thinking if I'm in that congregation, I'm ousting that pastor. They're gone.
But I also, how does every other member of that church, how does nobody else stand up for this woman? I don't also understand that either. To me, that seems weird. I mean, I can't even have a better word for it. It just seems absolutely weird that you have this entire congregation who is like, yeah, this is a great idea. We're going to abandon this old lady in the dark. I mean, maybe if we're lucky, she'll fall and break a hip and we won't have to worry about her. I mean, that just to me seems like.
Well, and to be 102 and still really active in your church, so much so that you feel that you can tell your pastor where to stick it, which is awesome. This is a tough rod.
Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't cross her. That's just, like, I'm pretty sure God is looking down and going, I'm sorry, you messed with whom now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What made you think you could mess with her? Do you think I've left her on this earth for this long so that you can jerk her around? No. So that's just my opinion on that. And that's sad and sick and wrong on every level.
Yeah. When I first read it, I'm sitting there, I think my comment was like, this pastor needs to go on sabbatical. He needs to repent and start listening to what God is saying. His ego has overtaken where God should be. To act like that, I'm like, oh my goodness, because I've gone to different churches in my time. And the church I go to now, I stood up to the pastor, and it was over something in my head. It was a stupid argument, but I felt it needed to be had because my church isn't like real big. But they were roping off, rows. So when people were coming in late with families, they had a place to sit. And I'm sitting there going, why are you roping up? Because they got the 2 front rows, they have reserve signs on them for the pastor and their families to sit, which I don't understand, but whatever. But then they rope off these other parts, and I'm sitting there going, why are you roping that off? I'm like, what if you have somebody come in that's never been to this church before, and so they don't know anybody, so they don't want to sit next to all these other people, and they just kind of want to sit off to the side. They are now losing us. I'm sitting there going, one week they had them roped off, and people came to visit, and they saw that there was this thing was roped off, and they had no place to sit because people will sit like with like that one chair in between them and like the next family. And I'm like, what sense is this making? He's like, well, because we have these families coming in. Like, then they, then they need to start getting ready earlier. We have one family, and oh, dear Lord Jesus, 2 of them will come in on time and then try to save 2 rows of seats, because then they start filing in for the next half hour, like at 10-minute increments, trying to fill these seats. And it's like, no, if y'all want to sit together, get here on time. I'm like, I see families with small children show up on time. I'm a third shifter and I drive 20 minutes and I get there on time. What is your excuse? I can see it every once in a while, not all the time. And they don't even come to church every week. They may show up once a month, and they're getting a special privilege over everybody else that's there all the time. Or, I'm like, arg. So that was a fight that I had, and I wasn't kicked out.
No,
so,
nor should you be for something like that.
Right. So I don't understand the ego of this pastor sitting there going, well, no, you have to do it the way I say because in my church. No, you are an employee of that church. You do not own the church.
Well, but it reminds me too of a similar kind of situation. The Catholic church that I went to when I was in high school, in my very small town in North Carolina, became no longer Catholic. And now I don't even actually know what they are now. They're the same church, but the families basically decided that the priest that they have, they weren't terribly happy with him, and they basically seceded from the Catholic Church and created their own. Like I said, I don't even know what denomination they are now. And I honestly think it's maybe Unitarian. I mean, it's something that's completely random. But I mean, I think it's one of those things where if as a congregation you legitimately change what you believe as your faith system and you want to separate or go somewhere else, then you need to make that a vote of all the people who are congregants and members of that church. And then you need to give people who have an issue, who wanted to stay the way it is, to, be heard. And then if everybody honestly wants to do that, then let it have the discussion. But you can't just systematically oust one person and even single them out because you've unilaterally decided that you no longer want to preach what has apparently been preached there for the last 92 years. You want to do something else. I mean, that just to me seems, like you mentioned, the ego on it is just insane.
Yeah. It's got, I don't. What happened to respect your elders?
Right?
I mean, honestly.
When people get to a certain age, I always look at like 80. When you get to 80, there's a reason why you're still here. When you get over 90, there's a real good reason why you're. When you're over 100, I want to listen to everything you've done in life because you have done something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you are here. And for this guy, I don't even know how old he is, but I'm just going to call him a young punk because relatively he is to her. This young punk's coming in and, you know, just disrupting everything that is going on. And it's just like, who do you think you are? I kind of just want to be there to watch God just sit there, you know, just layeth the smacketh down on him.
It's like we need some religious popcorn sitting there at in heaven. Just be like, I just want to watch. This is to be fun and just this will be watch.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should someday.
Like hashtag popcorn.
Yeah.
Right? Because when I read this, I'm like, no wonder. Okay, you all have, you know, read the same kind of articles I do on a daily basis where, you know, you have people coming out sitting there going, oh, Christians are just awful and look how they treat others. And here's the reasons why. When you have stupid crap like this happen where people are sitting there going, yeah, I'm a Christian, but yet their ego is is their first thought before their thought is on God or on Jesus. It's like, well, no wonder people don't like those Christians because I don't like those Christians.
Well, but it also brings up, I mean, you have the hypocrisy in a lot of people it's annoying for the Christian population too, because you have high profile people or who are in the news or who are legitimately high profile and they're the biggest hypocrites. And I'm not mentioning names other than, you know, a prominent family that may or may not live in Arkansas who has about 8 bajillion children. And while I appreciate that they wholeheartedly believe what they do, there is something fundamentally wrong with the teachings of their children where they were able to, admittedly, people go bad, people raise murderers accidentally or whatever, but it just is, you're talking years and years and years of hypocrisy, and it starts to be less about one child being the black sheep and really about, you know, a group of people who are just, there's something not right there. And that's coming from somebody who originally was like, this is a great family, they have great values, and I'm not denying that they maybe don't. I just think that their values have somehow created an environment where made that okay.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, victimized their daughter-in-law, it's victimized their own daughters, and I think that creates, and that it extends to, you asked what is wrong with people, and I think it's, you know, the respect your elders, and I think it goes down to, we don't have a respect for elders. We've lost respect for life. We've lost respect for personal, you know, responsibility, and it applies to not even just Christians, it's in general. Like, I don't even necessarily think that's an ethical issue. That's a moral issue. It's not even necessarily religious. I mean, and it bothers me, and I feel like it's one of those issues where, and I don't think necessarily people are talking about it, or if they're talking about it, it's because, well, I have choice. And it's like, no, just because you have choice doesn't mean that you have the right to act like a complete and total jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, I could use bigger words there, but I'm trying to tone them down.
Yes, so. Yeah, we censor ourselves quite regularly.
We have to. It's awful. Yeah, there are lots of colorful words that I would like to use on a regular basis. She's heard a lot of them come out of my mouth this weekend already. So,
right now, my favorite thing to call people are special little nuggets.
Huh?
That's what I've landed on this week. Because people do, they believe that they're special little nuggets and rules don't apply to them because somehow in their head they're above everybody else, and it's like, no, you ain't. No. I've had to confront a few of my coworkers on that this week.
But not only that, the rules don't apply to them, but the rules do apply to everybody else, because God forbid you hurt their feelings, because that's just terrible.
Because feelings are everything. Because
All the feels.
All of them. We need all the feels, all the time, 100%. What was it? Well, I was telling you guys I served with my church today and brought my kids, and what we were doing was we were wiping down grocery carts for people coming in to grocery shop, and another segment of our group was bagging groceries then for the people when they were done grocery shopping. And for those that needed a little extra help, we helped them take their groceries out to their car and put them away. We didn't preach to them. We were like, Jesus is Lord. Let's, wonderful. Praise all to you. We're like, do you need a grocery cart? That was it.
That is so divisive.
I know. We're just terrible people. We're bagging groceries. And even doing those things, there were people that took objection to what we were doing. And we had one person get all up on their high horse about, I don't see why Christians need to shove Christianity down our throats. Okay, because we bagged your groceries? I don't really understand. Nowhere in there was Jesus mentioned.
For being nice to me. Stop being nice to me. Don't shove your religion down my throat. Stop being nice. I don't want your help, gosh darn it. It hurts my feelings.
He's mean to me all the time. But I had this experience. That was something, I wasn't there when that happened, but I had this experience. This woman walks in. And my son, who is very kind, you've both met my son, he is just a delight. And, he can be a little brash, but he's a good kid. He's good people. Mm-hmm. So he's standing there at the door, and this woman walks in, and he says, oh, can I get you a cart? And, death eyes at him and says, I can get my own.
I'm willing to bet
and the mama bear, no, seriously, the mama bear in me was like, get me over these carts, I'm going to punch her.
But I'm willing to bet you $100 she's a feminist.
Probably. But here's the thing. When I it took a couple seconds, and then I was like, well, you have a great day. Because I'm like, let's end this on a happy note, because clearly you need some happiness in your world. I said, well, you have a great day. And she goes, yeah, you suck it.
Sorry, that just kind of reminds me of this thing I did in the 90s where people are like, have a nice day. And I'd be like, I look back and go, don't tell me what to do.
Right? But I'm like, but the best part of it was one of the other kids we were serving with, just Johnny on the spot, didn't miss a beat. As soon as she said, you suck it, he leans back and looks back at her and goes, God bless you. And I followed it with, we'll pray for you. But
I love that.
What are you gonna do with those people? I don't understand. Most everybody else who came through was either like, oh no, thank you, or
best part about it is, that women went home and to her community women's group with a Y, of course,
right? Women's
group was saying, you will not believe what these terrible people did to me. She was, I was persecuted for
this boy.
These terrible people. They're
trying to get me a grocery cart.
I know. So
the nerve.
I know.
Dang. Yeah.
She's gonna complain about this for years now.
Probably. But I just thought,
a blog post up Monday.
Well, it'll
be all over Tumblr.
Yeah,
right. So it's funny that you said feminist, because when I told the one gal who was leading the whole group what happened, she goes, she's a feminist. Mm-hmm. I almost lost it. I was like, yes, she is. So it was kind of funny, but that was just following on the heels of kicking this nice little old lady out of her church. Just, I don't understand. I'm confused.
Yeah. But guess what?
What?
We're almost out of time. We have maybe 30 seconds left.
That's so lame.
I know.
Some people and their clocks. Did I talk too much? No, trust me, we do this every week with just us. I think we could probably do this with just one of us.
Probably.
So we just go over time. It happens. So anyway, so if you guys object to anything that I said, and like I said, some of my information that I gave out, I have not verified yet. And as soon as I verify it, I will let you all know. Please don't send me hate mail on that. But if you have anything else to say about how lovely I am and aren't I pretty, then you can send that to IndUpGirlism on Twitter. You can do it on the May Dames page too. I do look at that, and I will respond in kind. So that's your warning. And I think that's it. And then if for some reason you have an issue with a beautiful Amok here.
I mean, and how could you? But if you do.
If you do, you can hit her Twitter handle, which is Run Amok Amok.
Run amok just for her selfies.
Yeah, but
Right.
that's really, I mean, because honestly, you know, you come for the opinion, but you stay for the selfies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and we've taken a few.
yes, it's quite a few.
Quite a few, because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's us.
But I'm generally not polite back, so I'm gonna warn you about that. So.
Yeah, she is a natural redhead. Watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever really want to comment or just try to get me into a debate, Beautifly Wings. Or if you're on Tumblr and see this, Pope Sparkles, I will respond sometime. Not guaranteed to win, but I will respond. So,
whenever the masters let you out of your job.
Yeah. When they release me from the cage and I can chew through the restraints, I will answer. So until next time, bye.
Bye, all.